way they cut YouTube videos now, it's like just to try and grab your attention every 10 seconds.
It is. It's like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
It's that sort of approach, isn't it?
Yeah.
And guess what? You'll never believe. I wish I'd known this before. It's all that stuff.
I could drop a few of these in through the video, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could.
Hi everyone, welcome to Nightfall.Drives. Doug here, and today, very excitingly, we're with Angus and his 1968 Ford Mustang. Thank you so much, Angus, for having us along today.
Happy to.
I don't know where to start. It's obviously legendary, iconic car. How did you end up with it? How long have you had it?
So, the process was this. I was bored of modern cars. They're all the same, they all drive for you, and they've stopped making good V8s now with all EV. And there's a place for EV, and I get that, but it wasn't for me, and I wanted something that was a little bit different, and I wanted to learn how to tinker with a car. So 2 years ago, I thought, what shall I get? And I understood that this was relatively easy to work on, and they're just super awesome, cool cars.
Well, they really are.
So I thought I'd do that. I went for the easiest option, which wasn't easy to find one though, because they're all pretty knackered, and they all need a lot of work.
Well, you've certainly done a lot of work on this, a few hundred hours.
Yeah, I think I did everything except for paint and do the body work, which was about 600 hours of work for some specialists, but the rest I did myself. It must be 300-400 hours of work. And because I'd never held a wrench in my life, and I didn't know what a distributor was or a carburetor was, it was hundreds and hundreds of hours on YouTube watching tutorials to learn what even the parts were. So when I first looked in it, I didn't even know what the bits were. So that's where I started, total novice. And I still don't really know what I'm doing. I just get lucky and it worked.
Well, you obviously know how to restore a Mustang.
I've got a hang of it, When you go on forums and you've got questions and you get so many answers and you find out they're all wrong, and you really just have to work it out yourself. And that's the only real way. But the useful thing was seeing the videos of people doing them. So you could see what order to take bits off and put it back on. It's quite frightening though, especially under jack stands. I was terrified most of the time it might fall on me.
There's always that paranoia under a car, isn't there?
There is, But wait, there's more.
It's obviously a good choice for sort of restoration project, the Mustang. Did you also have like a desire for a Mustang for a long time? Or?
I've only ever seen one once on the roads. And it just caught my attention and thought that's the one for me. And I wanted a V8, I wanted to be loud and gnarly. And I thought these were pretty nice looking cars. It's unusual because it's almost all straight lines. And normally it's curvy cars I go for, but it's somehow pulled off straight lines. They just look great. Like just stealthy. And
they just have the little touches of like the rear haunches.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
I love a bonnet bulge.
So obviously the bonnet isn't stock. A lot of this car isn't stock.
It's stock. Restomod, I guess. So the bonnet it's taken from the styling of the famous Eleanor car. Which is the one gone in 60 seconds. Which is this is a notchback. That's the fastback version. Which is the most desirable. Which is silly money. But this was originally in the Eleanor colours as well, which is the peppered grey. So it's got the body kit and the scoops on the side. They're all from the Eleanor style, but I didn't want it to look like a kind of a fake Eleanor, so I went for a completely different colour, which is it's a magnetic grey. It is a Ford Mustang colour, but it's a modern one because they couldn't paint it the colour it was originally, which was actually original. It was blue, and they couldn't mix the paint to the right colour. So that's why I just went with a completely different colour in the end. So you do have the hints of Eleanor, like you say, the lights down here, and
that's right. The fog lights.
And now it's it's almost complete. You'd say
it's almost there. I would like to lower it an inch at the front, called the Shelby drop, which makes
It's not the best handling car in the world.
Dragster sort of.
It'll make it handle a lot better.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to do that to it. Short of that, really, there's nothing left to do. It's kind. It's anyone who does this will know that it never ends, and there's always something you want to tweak or change, and then you just throw thousands and thousands of pounds at it, and you think, when do I stop?
Yeah.
And you never do.
Wow. Yeah.
You never do.
Well, it's certainly just having a quick look around now. It's in incredible condition and you know, a beautiful thing. Is it all right if we have a look under the hood?
Yeah.
I say hood.
So,
for obvious reasons.
It was originally a V6 car, not a V6, a flat 6.
Oh yeah.
This has what's known as a 351 engine in it. And when I got it, it did start and it moved forward, but then it wouldn't start again. So that was the beginning of having to so almost like a lot of the auxiliary parts are brand new.
Yeah.
Apart from the engine, it's all new. So the carburetor's new, the distributor's new, the I don't know, battery, HT leads, braking system, master cylinder. I replaced all of that. And it now works.
And yeah, you've obviously learned a lot from this.
Starter motor, it's endless. I'll be here all day talking through all the bits I've done. But yeah, it's quite powerful, and I've just put a kick down on it, and I didn't realise just how powerful it was. It's not powerful by modern car standards, it's slow. But for a car of this age, it's noticeably quicker than you'd expect it to be.
Yeah, and it's full of character, I guess, and torquey.
And it throws you right back in time when you start up and drive it. You go, I feel like I've gone back 50 years. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well,
yeah, it's the experience of it, really.
Shall we do that next time? We'll start it up and head out.
Let's go for it.
Okay, let's run.
This really long bonnet, so you have to be careful because it'll stick out more than you realise. And it's weird driving on this side of the car because you feel like you're really close to the verge. And so I end up going a bit too far into the middle of the road, which is worse. So I'm really conscious to think I've got to stay this far over.
I suppose the good thing is it's not actually not really wide. It's a bit narrower than I expected it to be. Oh, this is awesome though. It's taken me back to, my dad had a few American cars when I was a sort of young teenager. And they never a Mustang, sadly, which I think is probably the most exciting, iconic one.
It's the first of the pony cars, isn't it?
Yeah. There we go, Have to assert yourself.
You do.
Yeah, I think they came out in '64.
That's right. They call it the 64 and a half because it came halfway through the year.
Oh yeah.
And this is the last of this sort of the first generation shape in '68. And then they changed and got a little bit bigger. The 67 and 68 are slightly bigger cars as well.
Yeah. And then it's a slightly later engine.
This engine is, I don't think I'm not great on my facts on this, but I don't think this existed when this was made. I think it's a 70s or 69 engine.
Yeah.
It's the largest of the small blocks.
Yeah.
Which comfortably fit in here. You hear a little bit of wheels squealing from the wheel because the tracking's off.
Yeah, it's a little bit busy on the wheel.
It is. It's a terrible road though as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I suppose these little tweaks left to do, but the first impression in here is of something that's immaculate, you know.
I wanted it to feel like it came off the shop floor.
Yeah, I think it does. So it's a good cruiser. The only real issue is that after about an
hour you get a headache because it's so loud all the time.
It's quite a bassy sound as well. It's a really meaty sound.
It is very.
It's that classic American sort of burble.
Yeah, it wants to be known it's here, and you definitely know it's there. Because it doesn't sound like any of the cars that I've ever heard.
No,
it's got a very different tone, and every single one of them sounds different. I've driven a few and they all sound different, even if they're all stock, each one will sound different.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you know, the age they've got to now, they've been through different levels of restoration, tuning and things. But I think this is a nice way to do it. You've obviously been quite sympathetic to how it looks, but there's hints of
modernisation.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, things like the headliner, and we made that by hand and stitched it on a machine.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There's although parts are easy to find, the import duties are crazy.
Oh yeah.
So it puts you off.
Yeah. So you
ideally want to. We'll go this way.
Yeah.
It kind of puts you off a little bit.
Yeah, I guess if you can buy in bulk or something and get a single delivery, but
yeah, it can cost a lot in taxes and duties.
Yeah. Are there any sort of specialists in the UK that you've been using or to help with, or is it mainly from America?
It's almost all from America. There's a company called Mustang Maniac that have quite a good stock and a quick delivery that I've used a few times. But ultimately, if you really want the exact thing you want, you just got to pay for that import. It is quick though. A couple of days. Posted from the States is amazing.
Yeah.
But some things are cheaper too. It's like the interior. You can buy all of the seat coverings and padding.
Yeah.
That worked out as more expensive with the cost of importing than having it all handmade.
Oh right.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I thought, well, I'll have it made to my specification if I can get it for the same price as an off the shelf. I don't know where we'll go. We'll go up here.
Clear that way.
It's a bit of a smoother road now.
Oh yeah. I guess because they sold huge numbers of these, didn't they? So, and also in America, I imagine a lot of people are looking after them still. So.
Yeah, it's a very popular car to have. There's no shortage of any part you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not difficult.
But at the same time, over here it's quite a rarity to see one. So.
Very, as I said, I've seen one once on the road.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And that's what made me want one, I think. Just saw it and thought, what's that?
Yeah.
That looks good. So I want one of those.
Something very special about it.
There's quite a lot of Mustang shows though in the UK. So you can go and see them in shows quite a lot.
Yeah.
And they're good shows.
Yeah, and I think you're thinking of putting this out for auction quite soon, aren't you? So by the time the video comes out, it may or may not have been. So, but it feels a shame. I feel like you put all these hours in.
I know.
It'd be nice to get some enjoyment.
Let's try it. The summer weather in the UK is so poor, and I don't want to drive it in the wet.
Yeah.
I haven't really had enough of a chance to drive it yet. It's just that's the problem with the classic car in the UK. You just don't get a chance to drive it.
Yeah.
Unless it's this is not a daily driver car, as you can probably feel. It's not something you want to be nipping to the shops in.
No.
It's not something you want to be parking up.
Yeah, it's very well a day like today, isn't it? Nice.
It's for this. It's for chill in the countryside on a weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's an experience to drive.
Yeah, definitely.
It's certainly different from anything I've ever.
Yeah, it's sort of all-consuming, like the sound and the feel and the smells, and it seems to take a bit of concentration with the steering.
It really does. Yeah, I'm having to concentrate quite hard. I can't I think maybe with a bit of experience driving it for a few hours, maybe you'd get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm still nervous.
Well, it's
keep
nice
it on the road, which is why I'm not flooring it. But I don't know what we're doing, but I'm not going too fast.
Yeah, no, We don't want the title of the video to be "We crushed a Mustang."
Exactly. I might give it a little bit on here, but it's also an uneven road, so if I give it some, then we hit up like that, we'll be off the road.
Yeah, and actually, I do remember that happening with one of my dads, because it kicked down the gears.
Yeah.
It was slightly greasy, and the back end just stepped out.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
These are quite well known for the back end slipping out.
Yeah. But it's nice that we've been able to, get some, to get out of the car today, and it's been such a terrible wet year, hasn't it? It's
worst summer ever.
Yeah.
I was excited when it was May and June, and it was like, oh, it's still like February.
Oh, yeah. I love the way it squats back in it.
It does.
Yeah. Quite a bit of torque in it. Do you know if I've seen people, this is the biggest of the small blocks, but do people put in big blocks as well, do you know?
I don't know. I think you can probably squeeze one in. A lot of people stroke the engines and they are phenomenally quick.
Yeah.
And you can get blueprint engines, so they're brand new, identical to the originals that have been stroked.
Oh yeah.
And they are, I've been out of one, I nearly bought one, they're frighteningly quick.
Yeah.
For a car that doesn't handle very well, I wouldn't recommend them. I think if you want a fast, exciting car, buy a modern, safe one.
Yes, yeah.
I don't fully get why people want to make these really quick. Because I don't know how you feel, but would you want to go that quickly in here?
No, definitely not. This is, I mean, it's the sort of driving for, well, you haven't got an agenda, you're not trying to get somewhere, you can enjoy the whole thing.
Exactly, you're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush the experience at all. And
yeah. There's a very small hint of, I used to have a Ford Capri back in the day when I was a student.
Yeah, wow.
It was only a 1.6, but a little bit of the, just the shape in a way, but this is like turned up to 11 in every way. But,
yeah.
But yeah, you never really wanted to rush about too much in that.
And it keeps going like that for quite a while.
Yeah.
It keeps the momentum, stays with you, just talks all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the red line would be, but that didn't sound like it was particularly.
No, it was happy to go a bit longer, I think.
Yeah. How are the brakes?
Well, they're not. It's not power brakes, so you do have to push.
Yeah.
And you need to brake about half a mile sooner than you'd normally do in a normal car.
What's gone in 60 seconds a big part of your sort of, growing up with your interest in cars?
No, it really wasn't. I didn't even know about the car from that film. It was after I bought the car that I realised that it was the famous fastback from in it.
Yeah.
I'd never really seen this car except for that one I saw on the road.
Yeah.
There's a lot of American movies with these old, muscle cars in them.
Yeah.
And I thought I would have had any of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't specifically too bothered about which one it was.
Yeah.
Any old big American muscle cars, what I fancied.
Yeah.
And as I said before, these were meant to be relatively easy to work on. Parts are freely available. It seemed like the logical choice.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But
and they're pretty cars. Well, not pretty cars. They're handsome cars.
Yeah, it's aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, lovely shape. And then I suppose there's the added bonus that, well, for me, I saw Nicolas Cage lusting after a GT500 Mustang.
Honestly, when you watch them drive, and the famous Bullet film, when you see them driving them like that, you realise how skilled those drivers were.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not like a modern car. They just throw them around. You think that is incredibly skilled driving.
Yeah.
You have to be skilled to drive like that, and you don't realise just how hard it is to have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Very impressive.
It doesn't feel like the sort of thing that wants to be thrown around.
No, and they do a great job in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, I have to. I'm going to get slaughtered in the comments probably for this, but I've never seen Bullet. I have to put that right soon.
Oh right, yeah. It's meant to be one of the best car chase scenes of all time.
Yeah.
And I understand the director didn't want the music in it so they could hear the engines.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen it since out as well. Like, you'd think I'd go and rewatch it, I've got the car, one of the similar cars that's in it, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, well, I think we both have to put that right. So was the plan always to? Because do you enjoy the restoration side more so than the living with it? Or,
it was never about the driving, or it was about doing it up. It's about learning how to do it. How do the cars work?
Yeah.
What do all the bits do? The funniest thing for me was the doing it up, and I think a lot of classic car owners would say a lot of the fun is tinkering with it.
Yeah.
And seeing the end result.
Yeah,
more than driving them.
Yeah,
and you don't see many, do you? You don't see that many cars out for good reason.
Yeah.
They spend 95% of their time in a garage being loved.
Yeah, yeah.
And about 5% being driven before they break down.
Well, that's why I do these videos in part, to sort of recognise the work that guys like you put in to keep the history alive. And
I would say to anyone who are like me, who's never done it before, doesn't know about cars and wants a classic, you really do need to learn how to do it yourself, because there's not as many mechanics that know old cars as you might think. There's long waiting times, it's very expensive, and you'll be in and out of them all the time, so
yeah,
it's very sensible to learn how to maintain and repair it. I wouldn't recommend you buy a classic car because you want to drive one regularly.
Yeah.
You have to have that love and passion for it.
Yeah.
And it is an addiction. That everyone says that you can't help but keep throwing more and more money and doing more and more things to them.
Yeah. You obviously get a lot from it, and the satisfaction of
it's immense.
Learning about it.
This is the most pride I've ever had. It's one of my, to almost built it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's much more enjoyable than buying one done, which was an option.
Yeah.
But when you do it yourself, you really feel like it's yours.
Yeah.
You've made your mark, you've really enjoyed it, you know every bit of the car. When it makes a funny noise, you're pretty sure you know what it is because there's something you didn't put on right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know the car, but then when you're an amateur like me, you get a bit nervous going, I hope I did bleed those brakes correctly. I hope I did put those brake lines on correctly, because if I haven't, you're in real trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is quite nerve-wracking when you've never done it before.
Yeah, I guess you double and triple check things because of that, I guess, don't you?
You do, you really do, and you're very cautious with the way you drive it for a long, long time until you build a confidence in it.
Yeah. But then doing it yourself as well, like, there's always a risk of breaking down, and you obviously can deal with things at the side of the road sometimes.
Honestly, it broke when I first got it. It broke down 4 times in a row. I managed to get about 200 or 300 meters each time before it broke down, and it was really embarrassing because the AA gets to know you really well.
Yeah.
You're holding up traffic, which is embarrassing. The whole thing is just quite traumatic.
Yeah.
And you get quite angry and upset. And then, but it gives you something to do. It gives you something to repair.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of fun as well, because you learn more about how to do that. It's heavy, this car, to go around the corner like that.
And actually, I'm really grateful that you did have that phase of breaking down, because just to reveal a little bit behind the scenes, I saw this car breaking down on the side of the road, and I have little business cards that I pop on nice cars that might enjoy to make a film, and that's what the breakdown brought us together. So
that's right. Yeah, if it wasn't for the breaking down, because I think you said you thought it was an unusual place to see a car parked of this sort on the side of the road. It's like, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And then it had lots of problems since that, and it's taken us, is it a year to get together when I finally got it to where it was a nice, safe, enjoyable ride?
Yeah, it's then it had the paintwork as well, and
that took 4 months.
Yeah. But it's been certainly worth the wait, Angus. I've really,
I'm pleased.
Really enjoyed it.
I was worried. I kept thinking I keep letting him down. But I thought it would be the worst thing ever if we take it out and it breaks down, and it would just be.
Well, yeah. Might generate more views, possibly. People like to see us suffer, probably.
That's right.
But I think, maybe that's a good place to leave it. I think, really enjoyed today. Thanks so much, Angus. It's
been a pleasure.
I think you did a fantastic job. I kind of hope you don't decide to go the auction route and you get a little bit of use from it. But if I manage to if I manage to get it out, the video out before the auction, have a look on Cara Classic. What a day! Thanks so much, Angus.
That's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's really nice to share with people that are interested, because I don't know anyone who's into cars or classic, so I've got no friends and it is very boring talking to people about cars. If you're not a car person, it's extremely boring for them.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't bother even mentioning it, because they switch off. The minute you say something like, I don't know, transmission linkage, they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Drive shaft on, yeah. Well, I'm glad to have given you an outlet for it. So, and if you've enjoyed the video, please check out the rest of the Owner Stories series. If you've got an interesting car you'd like to share with the channel, let me know. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you again. Cheers.